At first, she thought it was just the room's poor signal, but even after walking a considerable distance, the signal icon remained unchanged. In addition, the hurried pace of the people around her was completely different from what she had seen before in the library. A series of questions began to arise in her mind. To figure out what was happening, she asked a passerby who was reading some materials.
What is going on? Why is everybody in costume?
You're a funny girl. We're making a major motion picture. His merry wife.
Upon hearing his response and seeing his appearance, Annie immediately froze. She was very familiar with the movie he mentioned, but that movie had clearly been released in 1947. Looking at the man who was speaking to her, Annie suddenly realized that she might have traveled back in time, because a movie with the same name could exist, but the lead actor in the movie couldn't have come back from the dead, and the man in front of her was the lead actor from His Happy Wife, an actor who was rumored to have passed away in 1948. While he was talking to his assistant, Annie quickly took the filming schedule, then hurried back to the library. Clearly, she couldn't accept the fact that she had traveled back to 1947. Strangely, after Annie counted to 3, she found herself back in the 21st century. Seeing the familiar tour guide, Annie couldn't help but voice her confusion. Did you see it? Are they still there? The tour guide, not understanding what she meant. When he remained silent, Annie opened the library door, and the diverse group of people was gone, replaced by various commemorative props and plaques. At that moment, she was sure she had truly traveled back to 1947. Realizing this, she immediately called her boss to request a flight ticket. It turned out that Annie was in this palace because, as a screenwriter, she had been facing a creative block. To break through, her boss suggested she learn from the famous Christmas movie His Happy Wife, and sent her to this palace, which had been used as a filming location. At first, everything seemed normal as the tour guide led her, but after receiving a call from her boss, when she went to the library to take the call, she unknowingly adjusted the hourglass on the table. Her boss, clearly not believing her story of time travel, thought it was just an excuse for her to cancel her trip, and immediately rejected her proposal to return to the company. Having just experienced such strange events, she had no interest in continuing the tour with the group. So, while everyone wasn't paying attention, Annie returned to the library again, recollecting what had happened earlier, and finally guessed that the hourglass was the key. She flipped the hourglass that had stopped running, then cautiously stepped out of the library door. Just as she expected, the props and plaques had vanished, and the empty hallway was now only populated by a few people in costumes.